If you're anything like me, man, that fight in Ocarina of Time against Volvagia was so epic and intense that it's easily one of the best boss fights in the entire game, in my opinion. There's a lot of boss fights in Ocarina of Time that are just so good, but the Fire Temple boss easily takes first place for me. In preparation for this video and reading some of the Ocarina of Time manga, yes, there is manga for Ocarina of Time, I'd like to have a conversation with you about the tragic story of Link and Volvagia and just how much this fight to the death really affected our hero. Let's dive in, man. What's up, man? I hope you're having an amazing day. I'm Derek, the creator of Zelda Theory. My goal for this video today is to help you forget about the stresses of life that have just been piling up by talking about the best video game series of all time, The Legend of Zelda. This channel will consist of Zelda guides, walkthroughs, top 5s, theories, obviously, as well as videos where we just kind of sit around and talk about the lore of the Zelda series, much like this one that you just clicked on. So if you're new and you find value at any time during this conversation today, consider subscribing to the channel and turning on all notifications. I appreciate you so much. So before we actually talk about the tragic story between Volvagia and Link, I really want to give you some context to Volvagia as a character, just in case you were unaware or you didn't know. This will hopefully help you to understand the tragic story more, if that makes sense. So Volvagia was an ancient dragon that lived in the depths of Death Mountain and was essentially the spirit of the mountain. It was said that a legendary Goron destroyed it with the use of the Megaton hammer. Now, by the time of Ocarina of Time, Ganon revived the dragon to secure the Fire Temple from intrusion. He also fed Gorons to Volvagia to make an example to other races that might revolt against him. Indicted by Darunia's son, Link sets out to destroy Volvagia to stop the dragon from escaping the temple and turning Hyrule into a burning wasteland. That's sort of the majority of the context that we got in the actual game. But as I said at the beginning of this video, there is a lot more context to Volvagia and Link and the tragic story. So we're going to dive into that right now. The Legend of Zelda series is a series that features a fair share of tragedies, from the very heartbreaking story of young Link and Navi to the sad deaths of the 4 champions in Breath of the Wild. The series is just filled with a whole bunch of sorrowful stories and depressing information and content, but at the same time, to balance that out, there's a lot of happiness and positive things that happen in the series, which is one of the main reasons why I love The Legend of Zelda. It takes your emotions on a huge swing. Let me know down below in the comments if you agree. Now, one of the lesser known tragedies of the series comes from Ocarina of Time's manga, and revolves around Link and the boss of the Fire Temple, Volvagia. Now that you guys have some context of Volvagia, once you arrive to the Fire Temple's final chamber and you see the long snake-like flaming dragon emerge from the lava-filled holes in the stage, it's definitely something that is very nostalgic and something that you're very sure to remember if you've ever played Ocarina of Time. Now, as far as the actual fight goes, the boss fight is essentially a whack-a-mole game, but it becomes exceedingly difficult when Volvagia takes to the air and causes the rocks to fall onto the small stage. Another reason why this fight was just so epic to me. The fight with Volvagia is a classic in its very own right, but as we stated before, the manga adds context to the fight that makes it stand out even more. And this is where we actually get into more of the juicy information and the things that you might not have known. Now, according to the Ocarina of Time manga, Link actually purchased Volvagia in Castletown when it was still just a baby dragon. It's so cute. Link purchased the dragon with the intentions of setting it free, but Volvagia quickly became attached to Link. The two became very good friends, and Volvagia even learned how to say Link's name. How epic is that? Eventually, the two parted ways and went on their separate paths. The two would meet again 7 years later, but in completely different circumstances. Sometime after leaving Volvagia, Link enters the Temple of Time and jumps 7 years into the future. While Link was time traveling, Volvagia was, and we kinda touched on this a little bit in the beginning of this video, was taken under Ganon's control and became evil. Ganon uses Volvagia to take control of Death Mountain and threatens to destroy Goron City and submerge all of Hyrule in lava if they didn't bend to his will. Link then has to travel to the heart of Death Mountain in order to prevent an eruption and save the Gorons. Once he reaches the center of the volcano, he understands and realizes his fate, that he has to defeat his old friend. When Link realizes the monster terrorizing Goron City is actually Volvagia, he pleads with the dragon to stop, but Volvagia no longer has any memory of the relationship he had with Link. As Volvagia attacks, Link continues to beg the dragon to remember him, but it's just to no avail. Ultimately, Link has no choice but to kill the dragon he saved when he was just a boy. He shoots Volvagia in the eye with one of his arrows to blind him, which is a nice nod to the actual boss fight from Ocarina of Time. Then, in one clean strike, Link cuts Volvagia's head off, killing his old friend. With its dying breath, the severed head of Volvagia whispers Link's name one last time, proving that he remembered his friend after all in the most heartbreaking fashion imaginable. Link is later then haunted by the ghost of Volvagia's disembodied head as he crosses the haunted wasteland. If you don't think that's epic and tragic, I don't know what's wrong with you, dude. I'm just kidding. While the story of Link and Volvagia might not actually be canon, it's honestly one of the most heart-wrenching tales in the entire series and in the Legend of Zelda lore. The relationship of Link and Volvagia goes completely overlooked in Ocarina of Time, but their story makes one of the game's best boss fights even more special. Come on, man. Like, that's one thing I did not like about Ocarina of Time as far as Link, is that he just really didn't have any emotion other than like at the end of the game when he's fighting Ganon and he's protecting Zelda. That was truly epic. But now that you have the context of this relationship between Link and Volvagia, wouldn't it have been so much better to witness that in the game and the relationship between Link and Volvagia? Super epic and super depressing at the same time. But if you found value in this video, be sure to subscribe, turn on all notifications, and be sure to check out the other Zelda content on the channel. YouTube's recommended video for you specifically will be popping up here on the left in about a couple seconds here, and of course I'm going to be throwing up a video that I think you're going to truly dig on the right side of the screen here. So continue to be the light, and remember, it's dangerous to go alone. Pick another Zelda video, man. You know you want to.